It was good, dog. I was watching an insightful commentary video of a Cheeto ranting over an interview session about women and feminism and the topic of depresiones, the statistics of men and women and how, like, men are more depressed than women and the suicide rate is higher in men. Now, at that time, to me, that just sounded like bull poopy because, like, how are men generally more depressed than women? Women are super dramatic about being depressed. They're more vocal and they resort to activism to fight depression. And so I'm like, bruh, this is some bull poopy. So I go onto Twitter and I make this tweet. Ninjas be like, men are more depressed to commit suicide more than women. My honest reaction. I find that really hard to believe, to be honest. Women are emotional insecure biddies and stuff. Poopy just don't make sense. And then I quote tweet saying, hang on a minute, now that I'm thinking about it, women are, in fact, more dramatic and annoying about being depressed in contrast to men, but could that automatically confirm that women are generally more miserable than men? This calls for extensive research, and so that's exactly what I did. I decided to ask around on Discord, and I'm not going to leak any screenshots because I do not want to be bothered to ask people if I can show their, Discord account. Anyway, as per usual, more and more people are saying that men are more depressed than women and the suicide rate and whatever. But I didn't want to talk about the statistics as we all know the statistics, and how could we trust that the statistics are all in America or even in the state that I live in? Because it says America and not like all over the world or in Alaska or something. My boy, I don't care. Because as I go through my day-to-day life, I see that more women are infinitely more miserable than all the men. At least that's what it looks like. So I decided to take to Instagram and I wanted to see my followers' opinions on what they think about the depresiones stuff and if men are more miserable than women. And I got the same exact results. I even specified, I don't care about statistics, I want your opinion. And I made the horrible decision to make 3 options instead of just 2. I put men, women, and both suffer similarly. And more people picked both because they're a bunch of close-minded motherheckers and they don't like creating debates and they're nice people. And they're so nice they're not even going to share their real opinion. They're just going to say both. Because that's clearly not true. Men and women are different, okay? I think we need to get that out of the way here. We are not the same. Manly men and manly women are better at things and worse at things. And women are more vocal and more annoying about being depressed than men. While men, they hide it up, and they try to cope with it, and they try to live with it. Even though how unhealthy it is, that's exactly what happens. That's why we have Sigma males. They don't go and complain about things. They go and make other people miserable because they're miserable. So what exactly was I expecting to see in the results of the Instagram poll? I wanted all of my female followers to be like, oh yeah, women are easily more depressed. But no, one of them voted for men. I think that's kind of base. Everyone else, though, all the other women, they voted for both, and I'm just like, bruh. I expected all of my followers to be a bunch of left-leaning, middle-leaning motherheckers that only decided to vote to be nice and they don't have a real opinion because they hate controversy. I honestly expected the woman option to be filled up with a bunch of votes from people that are self-centered or something, but, I guess I underestimated my followers, which I guess I could kind of respect that. I'm not really that mad I sound really mad right now, but I'm not. I just think it's very, very interesting. Now, since it's spring break right now, I'm not able to do interviews at school, and I hate going outside, and so either I wait for spring break to be over and I continue doing my YouTube short interviews, or I could go to Walmart with my with one of my boys and I can do them interviews over there, you know what I'm saying? And so I was like, hey, yeah, let's just go to Walmart and we can interview people about this depression thing that I want to know so much about. Then the Savior gifted me a child from the heavens that I can fondle with all I want. I mean, ayo. And so I decided to manipulate him into doing interviews for me. Just kidding, he offered to do it, it's all good. Since he's not on spring break and he lives in a completely different state from me, at least I assume so, he agreed to do interviews at his school for me and then send me the footage so I can edit it down into a short. So let's just play that short right here and now. Today, I just hired my brand new intern to do interviews for me while I'm on spring break about depresiones. He has never done this before, so please be nice to him.
Do you feel like men or women are more depressed based on your own opinions?
Men.
Why is that?
I feel like women talk more about their emotions with their friends than men.
Women, because of the beauty standards, and they have a lot of pressure to them, because they get abused, domestic violence like he just did earlier on. Then there's also they feel pressure to be
Women, why is that?
Because we get told a lot of different things. So yeah.
You heard it.
I feel like, personally, me, in my opinion,
men are depressed, they decide to hold it in and they don't be crying about it. But women, they're also depressed, more like emotional about it. Yeah.
He'll be so happy when he finds out I gifted him an entire Fortnite skin for this. We actually have to wait 2 days after adding each other on Fortnite until I can gift him anything, so I didn't gift him anything yet. I gotta wait till tomorrow as I'm recording this. Anyway, so we got very split results here. We got 2 women that say men and then 2 women that say women. And I'm very confused of why he only interviewed women. I never said he had to interview any specific people, just people at the school or whatever. But whatever, it doesn't even matter. I think these results are very interesting. Now, there's been a heavy push on national beauty standards all throughout time. And it causes women to be very insecure about their looks because they feel like they don't fit in to the national majority. And it's sad to see all these women lose confidence in themselves and have them feel like that they don't have a place in the world. And I think that poopy sucks. And it's the same thing for men. There are ugly men in this world, and that's crazy. But it's mostly for women where this is such a damaging pandemic. It's not even an epidemic because it's all over the world, so it's a pandemic. But then there's also the risk of women being in the crossfire of domestic violence, and that stuff does happen. I know some women that have been assaulted in multiple different ways, and that poopy's crazy. They are forever traumatized and they can't stop talking about it. But anyway, now as for the 2 women with the responses of men being the most depressed, they quickly point out that men don't really share their feelings as much, and they ain't going around crying about it. Now, how does this lead to men being more miserable? It further leads a man to believe that they don't belong in the world. Just like how women feel like they don't belong because they're ugly. And it could further lead a man into not going to therapy or something. Me personally, I don't think therapy is that beneficial. Like, it kind of has temporary good things, you know. It really depends. This is a very complicated take of mine. But I never ever go to therapy because I know that the only reason why I have problems and things that I need to fix is because I'm the only one that could fix those things. I have a very clear answer on how I need to fix those because they're very simple, you know, conflicts. I don't need a hired professional that I am paying to tell me the exact same thing that I already know. And this might be a very rare situation, but even for people that are assaulted or something, you know exactly what you need to do. You need to start carrying pepper spray, a knife, maybe even a firearm. Step away from dating for a year or 2. And then find a manly man that will protect you, which might be really hard because, you know, every single man that you look at, you're like, oh my gosh, he's just gonna touch me. But yeah, I am not a woman, so I can't really say much there. So anyway, you get the point. The point is, men do not share their feelings, and they like to hide everything, and sometimes they're always the ones that are pushed into the front lines, literally and figuratively. When I was on trek for 3 days, I always volunteered to do all the hard labor because I was the strongest one there, and I knew it was my duty. But on the second day, I was so miserable because I was just tired of doing all this stuff, but I knew I had to do it because who else was going to do it, because nobody could do anything else right. I had 6 other roleplay fake Trek siblings and stuff, and there was one that was older than me, or 2, I have no idea. Everyone else was either my age or younger than me. And then there were the 2 parents, Ma and Pa. And so they kind of did a lot. They did the most, really. They did way more than me. But in terms of pushing the hand cart when we're going on those trails, I did so much, my boy. I always made sure that I was pushing that cart one way or another, whether I was in the front or I was in the back or on the sides, making sure that they don't run into a cactus that's in the middle of the trail. I just felt like it was my manly duty to be the manly man, the manly brother of the family, because I am a manly man, and it is always my duty to be the manly man of the manly manliness. And what's strange is that when all the women came home and they were talking about their experience in Trek, every single one of them that I have talked to said that they had the best experience of their life. Trek was a 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10, and then me as a man, I think it was a 3 out of 10. I thought it was miserable. I had no idea why the heck I was there. I never want to do that poopy ever again. Because the women, it was just so easy for them. Back then, when the Mormons were trekking from Missouri to the west, the women struggled just as much as the men, and it was miserable for everyone. But they kind of dumbed it down to be like so easy for everyone, and now the women, they actually have fun. Now let's try to wrap up this video here because it's already way too long. I really don't like making my videos any more longer than 8 minutes, alright? So what is my conclusion here? So I think it's pretty obvious from the start that men are the most depressed, and there's something about having a peepee and balls and facial hair that just makes you moody. Well, women, there's something about them where they're bound to their estrogen. Now I feel like there could be a much smarter scientific professor that could explain this a lot better than me, but no matter what women do, they can never just sit there. Okay, they always have to do something about it, you know, most of the time. There are a lot of very manly women that I know, but still. So they either do one of three things. They join the LGBTs to make them feel like that they're a part of something. They commit activism and provide charities to help other people or animals because they can't help themselves. Or they start a Twitter account and start complaining about whatever's on their mind to have them feel like that they're changing the world somehow, but really they're just making it worse. But men, they are so good at just sitting there and doing nothing. Like, they can occupy themselves with the littlest things, and you know, they're just chilling. They're miserable as frick, but they're not hurting anyone, you know what I'm saying? And like I said, this is this doesn't apply to everyone. They're very feminine, manly men, but then they're a very masculine, womanly woman, okay? And even when like women or something transition into a man or non-binary, and they still act the same. They are like such horrible actors, but then men, they transition into a woman and they're so good at it. You see, this is very random to bring up, I know, but like, it's just something I've noticed, and it's very strange to me. It's like men were just always meant to transition. It's crazy. I think the mental health crisis here in today's society really sparked from the pandemic. You know, everyone's not being able to go outside, and they have to try to change their lifestyle in order to adapt to not getting sick and then killing everyone else around them. And so nobody really ever completely stepped away from those lifestyles. There's a bunch of things that we all do now that we've just never really abandoned ever since the pandemic. And so, healthy or not, we are all bloody miserable. Think about all the people that you know in real life and try to name one person that you know is genuinely happy. Exactly, you can't think of a single person. Everyone is bloody miserable. That's why there's so many people that they're bloody LGBT, because they want to feel like they're a part of something good. And then there are other people that become Nazis because they also want to feel like they're a part of something good and that they're going to change the world for the better. But yeah, that's about it. Sub to the second channel, follow the bloody Twitter, the bloody Instagram, the bloody Twitch, the bloody TikTok, and join the bloody Discord server. See y'all next week. Follow all the social media. Bye bye.